Welcome back to Spring Into Math 8. Today we're going to be taking a look at reviewing all of the different formulas we covered in Chapter 16. Let's go ahead and get started. The first topic we discussed was finding the volume of a cylinder. The volume of a cylinder is as follows. It's V equals pi times r squared times h. We need to make sure we know what each of those things in the formula means, so we insert the correct information when solving. So volume, V, is what V stands for volume, r, the radius of the base of the cylinder, and h, the height of the cylinder. Don't forget to use 3.14 when representing the variable pi. Here's an example we can do together. So find the volume of the cylinder to the nearest cubic unit. They drew a cylinder here for you. It has a radius of 4 feet and a height of 7 feet. What we need to do is just insert these two pieces of information into the formula and multiply. So we've inserted it here. V equals 3.14, which is pi, times 4 squared times 7. Now, at this point, you're probably pretty good at finding the volume of a cylinder. So you can either multiply with paper and pencil and check your work with the calculator, or in review, jump straight to a calculator. Now, when I multiplied all those things together, I got the volume of 351.68. But remember, when they ask you to find something to the nearest cubic unit, we need to drop the decimals. So the 0.68 tells me to round up. So 351.68 actually turns into 352 feet cubed. The second thing we learned to do is find the volume of a cone. The volume of a cone is represented by the following formula. V equals 1/3 times pi times radius squared times the height. And again, each of those items in the formula has a particular meaning. Pi is 3.14, r is the radius, h is the height. So finding the volume of a cone. Again, we need to grab some pieces of information, insert them into the formula, and multiply. So we have a 6-meter radius and a 13-meter height of this particular cone. Basically, a cone, is we're looking at, is an upside-down version of what you would have hold your ice cream in. So we went ahead and inserted this information into the formula, and it reads now as volume is equal to 1/3 times pi times 6 squared times 13. Now again, paper and pencil is a great way to practice your multiplication skills, but I suggest checking your work on a calculator. When you multiply all of those things together, you're going to go ahead and get a volume answer of V equals 156 times pi meters cubed, or if you multiplied 156 times pi, you would actually get the answer of 489.84. The last thing we learned to find the volume of in this particular chapter was a sphere. So here is the formula for finding the volume of a sphere. V equals 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. Now remember, pi is 3.14, and the radius is given to us in the problem. And if we're going to cube it, we're going to multiply the radius times itself, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Here's our equation, or our practice problem. And the words here on one side lists the formula out in words, and the actual formula is listed out in the algebraic way on the other side. In the middle, we have our work. So V equals 4/3 times pi times 3 cubed. Now that 3, we are grabbing from the illustration above. It shows the radius is 3. So when we multiply 4/3 times pi times 3 cubed, we get 113.1 units cubed. Now, an acceptable answer would also be 36 times pi, because it just happens to also be equal to the same thing as 113.1 units cubed. In review, I suggest you do your absolute best to try and memorize these 3 different formulas. They're all very similar and can easily be confused with one another. Maybe consider thinking of your own particular tricks that work for you to help you memorize them. Make sure you check your work with the calculator when you're allowed to. Happy solving, good luck on your exam, and catch you next time.